Hi, I'm Monica. Welcome to this tutorial for Chaturanga. I know Chaturanga is such a challenging pose for most people, me included, but it's so worth working on it and working towards a strong Chaturanga because it has so many great benefits. It not only strengthens the muscles in the arms, but also the muscles around the shoulders, the abs, and the whole core muscles. And you can do it in a really fun way to play around with it, to have fun while discovering this challenging pose. And there are great modifications out there which you can use to working towards a strong Chaturanga practice. And this I want to show you in this video. You almost always come into Chaturanga from plank pose. Or if you're super advanced, you can also jump, for example, in the sun salutation into Chaturanga. But for this, I've made another video how to jump into Chaturanga, so check out this video if you're interested. Here, I want to focus really on Chaturanga, on this pose, and how to build up strength, how to do it correctly, how to work towards it, and which modifications you can use which can help you to build up strength. I'm using props here, so I have here a yoga strap, but you can also use a belt that's basically the same. And I have made a loop here, which I will put then on my arms, and this should be shoulder width apart. So my arms should be shoulder width apart when I'm in the loop, or a little bit looser, but I will show you exactly in a minute how to use it. And I have 2 blocks. If you don't have blocks, then use something really stable instead. So get creative, find something like really stable boxes or book or something. We will use them to support our core in Chaturanga. So, but first, I want to show you how to build up strength. So there is one exercise which I really like to do before I go into Chaturanga. And therefore we start in all fours. In all fours, in plank, in Chaturanga, and in any pose where you put on weight on your hands, it is so important to look first on the alignment of the hands and how to use it. So, as I told you already in my plank video, we need to engage the muscles of the arms. And therefore, I want to spread the fingers super wide to build up strength. And then I push down through the dips of my fingers, through the fingertips. But I counter this with pushing down also the knuckles of the fingers. And then it's super important. A lot of people, or some people, they tend to push on the pinky finger side and the little finger side, and then the wrist turns out and the elbows turns out, and this can really hurt your wrist. So we wanna push down through the knuckles, but especially the index finger knuckles and the thumb, and the space between the thumb and the index fingers. So, finger spread, grip with the fingertips, pushing down through the index finger knuckles and the thumbs, and the middle finger or the index finger is pointing forward. So, ideally, the index finger is pointing forward. But if this is not possible for you because it's very tight, then you can also let the space between the index finger and the middle finger point forward. And we have the finger spread. The wrists are exactly under the shoulders. And the knees under the hips. And now it's super important also that notice if you hear like this, then that's a sign that the core muscles are not engaged at all. So I really want to push the mat away and I want to engage the core muscles to really knit the ribs in and draw the belly up through the spine. So really zip this up like this. See the difference? And I want to have it neutral, so this was a little bit too much. And pushing the mat away. Okay. And now I look down, and with the next exhalation, without bending my elbows, I just sink down with the heart. Inhale, coming up, broadening the shoulder blades apart. Exhale, sinking the heart down. Inhale, shoulder blades apart. Exhale, sinking down. And inhale, coming up again. And the whole time I have engaged my abs. So try it one more time and focus on your abs. Exhale down. Inhale, coming up again. And this exercise is very good for a muscle which is called serratus. And this muscle goes down here from the ribs. And this is the one we need to be super strong for Chaturanga and also for plank. So this is a really great exercise to prepare for plank and for Chaturanga. Okay, so now let's go into plank pose. And as I said already, plank pose is almost always the place where we move into Chaturanga. And therefore it's so important to already have a correct alignment in plank pose. And the alignment in plank pose is the wrists are under the shoulders. Remember how we have the hands, which I explained you in all fours, the same is here. And I want to have the ball of the feet under my heels. So this is the correct stance. Now, if you are too narrow already in plank pose, then what happens is that you have the butt up or you sink down. And from this position, it's not a good idea to go into Chaturanga. Because if you're already here, if the stance is too narrow, then you can either go outside with the elbows, which will hurt your wrists. So we don't want to have this. Or you sink down and you're in something like this. And then it's very important, therefore, to have the correct alignment in plank pose already. And the other thing I want to explain you is when we go down into Chaturanga, it's super important to have the elbows very close to the body so they don't spread out. This is really bad for you, so they are super close to the body. And to work towards Chaturanga, we will now do a great modification. So again, we go in plank pose, fingers spread wide, grip with the tips of the fingers, knuckles of the index finger and thumb pushing down, heels pushing back, and the ball of the head under the heels, belly in, so really engage the core muscles, and then bring the knees down. Feet up. Then you can stay here to practice plank and also the practice for Chaturanga. Or we are in plank and we shift our shoulders past the wrists and then go down with the knees. And now we can bend the elbows and going down halfway or whole way for Chaturanga with knees down. So let's repeat this one more time. So I have the shoulders exactly over my wrists and the ball of the feet under my heels, belly in, and notice if I don't shift my shoulders past the wrists, what happens is I don't have space, so I have to bring the elbows outside, which you already know is not good for you. You can hurt your shoulders, your elbows, and your wrists. So that's why it's so super important when you are in plank, you shift your weight past the wrists. Now you can bring your knees down, feet up. And when you're past the wrists, you can have the elbows super close and come all the way down in one straight line. So this is super important. Go back in child's pose. And let's repeat this. So, hands under the shoulders, heels over the balls of the feet, belly in. And also, it's super important. So we press the heels back, but we reach our sternum forward. And the neck is super soft. And now we shift our weight past the wrists, knees down, and going all the way down. Okay. Go back in child's pose. And let's do this one last time. And this time we stay halfway with the knees down. Okay. So we go into plank pose. Check your alignment first. And then we shift our weight past the wrists, bring the knees down, feet up, and then we go halfway down, stay here, and then all the way down. Great. And this is a really great preparation for Chaturanga to go all the way down. Let's do this now from plank and going all the way down without bringing our knees down. This is a great modification and also great to use in the sun salutation. If you're not secure in your Chaturanga, you can always go all the way down and then up into upward facing dog. Okay. So, and it's the same movement. So if you practice this, then that's the best way to get ready for Chaturanga. Okay, let's start. So again, alignment, check the alignment. And it's also important that the hands are not too narrow. So they should be shoulder width apart. Or if you have super tight shoulders, then you can go slightly farther than shoulder width apart. Okay, so plank pose. I have my heels over the balls of the feet, the wrists under the shoulders. I push my heels back while I'm reaching the sternum forward. And now I shift my weight past the wrists, elbows super close to the body so they touch the body. And then I go all the way down. Great. Let's do this one more time. First in child's pose. And now one more time we go all the way down. Plank pose, check your alignment. And then we go past the wrists with the shoulders, bending the elbows, elbows touching the body, and we go all the way down in one straight line. Okay. And one last time. So we go in plank pose. And notice if there's a lack of engagement of the core, then what happens is you will sink down with your belly first, and this can hurt your low back. So if you go all the way down or into Chaturanga, always pay attention on your core. So really pull the ribs and navel in. And now shift your weight past the wrists, bend your elbows close to the body, and go all the way down. Okay. So this is a great way to practice for Chaturanga. And now I will show you the modifications with props. So take your belt or your strap, whatever you have, and we bring it on the upper arms. So the upper arms are now shoulder width apart, but the strap shouldn't be super tight now. So I go here in my plank, and what will happen is I have my strap here. When I shift from plank into Chaturanga, the strap will help me, will support me with my weight. So let's begin. Okay, correct alignment, wrists under the shoulders. And now we shift our weight past the wrists, elbows super close to the body. And you see, the strap is supporting me here in my Chaturanga. Knees down and back. And also, what's helping here is that often there's also one misalignment in Chaturanga, very common, and I'm also one of the person who does it, and that is that if you do Chaturanga, then you sink down with your sternum. So your sternum should be a little bit up, even if you're in Chaturanga. And that's very hard. And therefore, this exercise with the strap can help a lot. So that's a great way. Let's do it one more time. Bring it on your upper arms. And notice that you don't have the strap too tight, because then you wouldn't have space when you go down for your upper body, for your chest. And it shouldn't be too loose, of course, also, because then it wouldn't do its work. Okay, so inhale deeply and then shift your weight past the wrists, going down, and feel the support from the strap. Okay, knees down and come out. So that is a great way to help you with Chaturanga. And then another way is using blocks. And for the first exercise, we will put our blocks shoulder width apart. So the block is exactly on touching my fingertips, basically. And so make sure, take your time to set the blocks in the right stance. So it can be a little bit narrower than shoulder width, so the outer line should be on the shoulders. The fingertips are touching the blocks. And now I inhale, shift my weight past the wrists and going down. And now I have the support of the blocks. And also here I can work on having my sternum reaching forward. Knees down and back. Let's do it one more time. So fingertips touching the blocks. which are parallel, and I have it on the higher side, as you can see. So we start from a great position, right alignment, and now we shift the weight past the wrists and going down into Chaturanga. Knees down and come back. Okay, so this is one great way to work on Chaturanga, and you can get the feeling how it should feel when you're then in, so with the sternum open. And another way you can use the block is to check how is the alignment of the forearm when you are down in Chaturanga. In my case, I have to work on this. So the proper alignment would be that the forearm is in 90 degrees. And many people, like me, tend to bend the elbows, and it's not exactly 90 degrees. So this should stay in a 90 degrees angle. And therefore, we can use the blocks as well. So I put the blocks behind my forearms, so parallel. Again, take your time to set your props, because it's really important. If you have it in the wrong place, then it's very counterproductive. Okay, so now I have the blocks exactly behind my forearm, so they're touching my forearm. And now if I go down and the blocks fall, that means it wasn't the correct way to go down. It wasn't the correct alignment. Let's try it. Shift my waist past the wrists, going down. Okay. And you see, it's even hard for me to practice it, but you know, with time, I developed such a, I have such a fun, and I like it so much to work towards this challenging pose that I do it almost every day, because it really, I like it. It's challenging, but I like it. And you will see, the more you practice, the more you will like it too, and it will become easier and easier. Okay, so, and this was the variation with the blocks. And now let's do a whole sequence, not a whole sequence, but we will go from plank into Chaturanga and into up dog. And again, here, it's so important to start with the correct alignment in plank pose, because otherwise all the other poses will be misaligned. So let's check this again. Heels of the feet under the, balls of the feet under the heels. I push spread the fingers wide, I push the mat away, knuckles down, grip with the fingertips. And now I shift my weight past the wrists and go halfway down into Chaturanga, and then up into upward facing dog. And knees down. And back in child's pose. Now I'll show you the version. You can do it with the knees down. So, you're in plank pose. Shift your weight past the wrist, bring the knees down. Feet up, elbows super close to the body. Chaturanga, bring the feet down and go up into upward facing dog. Okay. And now I'll show you the version with going all the way down. So we are here in plank pose. Belly in, sternum forward, push the heels back. Inhale, shift your weight past the wrists, elbows super close to the body, and go in one straight line all the way down. Great. And now, one last time, let's do Chaturanga, plank Chaturanga, and upward facing dog. Okay. So, reaching the sternum forward, pushing the heels back, abs in, ribs in. Inhale deeply, shift your weight past the wrists, coming halfway down, and up into upward facing dog. And go back in child's pose. Okay. So, I hope this tutorial could help you. And practice, 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 and I promise you, you will see the improvements so fast if you just keep on doing. And it can be, as I said, such a fun way to do it. Use props or do these modifications and let me know how it worked with you. Check out also my other videos. I'm sending you, like always, lots of love. Namaste.